Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, RoadRoo.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. As expected, remember last week I was saying they're probably going to try to jam silver below the 200-day moving average, which was $21 at the time. Now we're at $20.60. Rust and Benham. How can you not see what's going on? All you have to do is pull up this chart. There's the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving averages. How long will it stay below that? I don't know. We have, today is the last day of trading, so they're going to get on the COMEX, where the price of silver is rigged on the COMEX. There is no other exchange on the planet for silver, which is really weird, really bizarre. Even China is futures and options in silver. For gold, they have the gold exchange, but for silver, yeah, it's only silver derivatives are allowed to trade. This is the most asinine, backwards world we live in financial markets. And if you don't understand the silver manipulation, go to RoadRoo.com, look up silver manipulation in the search function, and you'll understand everything about it. So, yes, they were gunning for it. They hit it. So I would say right now is a good time to buy. Good time to buy. What was that? Oh, yeah, the 10-ounce Ruta bar right here. Road to Ruta, 10-ounce bar. $2.99 over spot at Miles Franklin. Send an email to Andy Scheckman, info@milesfranklin.com, and get as many as you can. Load up the truck. And he also has a lot of different types of silver, so pick your poison over there. Andy Scheckman, 800-822-8080. Yeah, it's so obvious every time you see it. Now, what's not obvious is what they're going to do next. This is not like a real brutal slam down so far. If they get it under 20, that's really a buying opportunity. So you might want a dollar cost average if you're buying. Yes, they can. Don't forget, these are computers and derivatives determining the price. 99% of all trades are big banks trading back and forth with each other, including the Exchange Stabilization Fund and Virtu Financial, the electronic rigging firm. Kind of runs the show for it, run by Vinny Viola. Vinny Viola, it even sounds like a mafia guy. So, yeah, take advantage of sub 21. I'd say they probably stop at 18 at this slam down, which would be great. What a great time to buy. But I'm going to buy a little bit here. I don't want to miss this obvious slam down. And the commercials aren't really in the best position. We're not quite sure because the CFTC is hiding that information from us. It's been about a month since they posted their data. They did post some for a month ago. So they're starting behind and continuing to be behind. Supposedly they're going to be caught up by mid-month. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. As far as what's going on in the gigantic March Delivery Month. Now, let me show you last couple of years what the March Delivery Month was. Right here's March, 11,680 contracts in 2001, 2021, 2022, 10,000 contracts. I mean, that's a lot of silver, 56 million, and this is just above 50 million. We have one more trading day, believe it or not, before the March, in the end of March trading, and then tomorrow is the delivery starts. I believe, here's my take, and it's already true, that will come way below this. Why? Because there's no silver to be delivered. It's all fake. It's all phony. It's a fraud. But let me show you something interesting. So look at those. March, 55 million ounces, 50 million ounces, and then this. There it is. Open interest for March right now, before they slam it again today, is 35 million ounces. So it is already the lowest in many years for a March delivery month. And you're going to see this fall, I think, below 5,000 contracts, maybe even below 4,000 contracts. Note, they also did an exchange for physical. This runs the contracts over to England, where it's easier to rig because it's not an exchange, it's an association. But this is all in the background. None of this is little speculators. None of it. It's all the criminals now. And you can tell by who's making the deliveries, who's accepting the silver, and who's giving the silver. JP Morgan customers, because JP Morgan can't trade for themselves until September 27th, I believe it is, of this year, because they're on a 3-year hiatus. So they're going to try to drag this out for another 6 months, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think they'll be able to do it, but who knows? Who knows? These criminals have done a lot over the last, 170 years. But that's how long we have for a silver craziness. Now, I do think they're going to pull the old force majeure. Oh, it's a war. We have to stop trading and then never open again. That's what I think their end game is. So maybe it's a war with China, where China shuts off all their exports to the U.S., which would choke off the United States. Joe Biden's doing everything to destroy the United States, by the way. As far as what's in the silver COMEX warehouses, there's a lot in there. This is from Mike Say 98 on Twitter. He keeps track of this stuff. The total amount of silver in there, supposedly, is 288 million ounces. It sounds like a lot of silver. I mean, it's double what Buffett bought. A single guy back in the late 90s bought 130 million ounces, and then was told to sit down and shut up and had to sell it, or they'd put him in jail. Thank you, U.S. government. But the registered is what we keep an eye on, 31 million ounces. So it's well below. We're not going to see a default based on, the registered versus what is going to be delivered this month, because what's going to be delivered this month already is about that number. And after today, it'll be half that, is my guess. So yeah, it's crazy. It's insane, but it's America. Welcome to America, my friends. All right, I do want to talk about Theta. People say, Bix, why don't you talk about Theta anymore? How do you talk about Theta when all they do is the stuff they say they're going to do? Amazing cryptocurrency, amazing company behind that cryptocurrency. Is it a security? I don't know. What do you call poker chips at a casino? Is that a security? Gary Gensler calls everything a security, obviously. There was just another discussion by Gary Gensler. Remember who Gary Gensler is. During the JP Morgan silver manipulation from like 2008 to 2016, when they've admitted now in court and been caught and paid a fine that they were rigging the silver market, Gary Gensler was the one overseeing that. Bart Chilton worked for Gary Gensler. Bart Chilton said they knew they were rigging the market, but there was a political decision not to do anything. So Gary Gensler absolutely knows what's going on, is on the absolute side of keeping the system together, criminals. Janet Yellen wanted him, or not Janet Yellen, Hillary Clinton wanted Gary Gensler as her Treasury Secretary. That just tells you how deep down that rabbit hole he goes. And now he's been saying, I don't believe anything other than Bitcoin is a security. Well, if you say anything other, you can't control it. You can't get your dirty little fingers in it. And controlling cryptocurrencies is going to be the worst thing for the country. You let it ride. Let it run. If people lose their money, people lose their money. That's the way it should be. It should be buyer beware, because the CFTC clearly and the SEC clearly aren't doing anything in any other industry to protect the consumers. They're doing everything to promote market manipulation and market rigging. There is no protection. There should be no protection. A life without regulators is a good life, because you won't invest in shady shit. And now you invest in shady shit and the regulators close their eyes until they want to crack down. And when's the last time the SEC closed down an operation before it did something bad? Never. But they've known about, like FTX, they knew about, they were in on it. There are actually CFTC and SEC people working for FTX. The insanity of what we are being asked to believe and put through. I heard Biden wants to pay the pensions of the Ukrainian people. We can't even afford our own pension plans. This is so insane right now. But remember, it's a game. It's a folly. Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, I can't believe it's like this. It's always been like this. It just hasn't been out in the open. You never knew about it. So I think it's all going to be crumbling down very soon. Get your physical silver in your own possession. Get your good cryptos in your own possession for the transition, and the future is cryptocurrencies. As well as silver. They're going to be a hell of a lot of silver for that Green New Deal. I think silver will be the one to hold originally as the system falls apart. You won't know the price of it, mind you. The COMEX will be shut down. The LBMA will be shut down. The U.S. stock market will be shut down. But you're going to want physical silver in your own possession. The U.S. does have plans and is starting to, they're definitely stockpiling for a gold and silver standard, the bimetal standard. We should have done it back in we went on the gold standard in 1990. We should have gone on the bimetal standard. I can give you 100 reasons. But yeah, we are headed there. David Ryder of the U.S. Mint, the ex-director of the U.S. Mint, has prepared gold and silver eagles to be tracked via blockchain. You can use blockchain as long as it's open and secure and all the good stuff we love about a blockchain. A CBDC will never work unless it's, number one, fixed quantity. They don't want that. Number two, an open ledger. You can see every trade. Immutable. You can't change the blockchain. All the good things about Bitcoin would have to be in a CBDC, but that's not why they want to invent a CBDC. They want to invent a CBDC to control you, central bank digital currency, to control you. We need to get rid of the politicians and the bankers and start fresh. And then whatever you have in your possession going forward, you're going to love. And I think Theta is going to be gigantic, especially if the system stays together. If the system falls apart, Mad Max world, your silver won't be worth anything, your cryptos won't be worth anything, nothing will be worth anything. The lead in your gun will be worth stuff. But I don't think we're going to get that bad. Yeah, of course we can, when they take down the crypto cabal, as I call them, the Tether group and all that bullshit, and the deep state within that, when they take that down, yeah, the cryptos will fall, the stock market will fall, or bond market will fall. Who knows, if the COMEX is still open, silver and gold will fall. If COMEX is closed, silver and gold will moonshot. You just won't know the price. So that's kind of where we are. You definitely want some Theta at $1.20 now. It's been rising since 70 cents. I mean, to me, this reminds me of when Theta dropped from $20 down to $4, or 20 cents down to 4 cents. Theta was up at like $15, and now it's $1. It's very similar. Get your Theta in your own possession. T-Fuel as well. Lots going on at Theta to use T-Fuel, and it's at 6 cents. You can get as much T-Fuel as you want. You can get it on Binance.us right now, but they'll close that down at some point. So, yeah. You want to get it. I'm not... You probably want to buy on Coinbase or Gemini, like whatever you're going to swap for Theta, and then bring it over to... You can use Simple Swap. You can use Binance.us. Most of the other trading companies will use Binance because it's the largest and the biggest. And right now, it's not illegal, but it'll be illegal soon as the bankers control the regulators who want to control everything. So now's the time just to hunker down. Make sure you got enough silver in your own possession. Look at your ratio. How much silver do you have to how much cryptos do you have? I know a lot of people got way up in cryptos. And then they came crashing. Now, silver won't crash as much. The price might on the COMEX, but the value of the silver is unbelievable. And clearly the manipulation game that JP Morgan and Bank of America are running right now, it's being hidden because it's going away. In March, they're going to post I think it's the next, the first week in March, they post the new OCC derivative data. I think you're going to see a huge drop again. It's been since the beginning of last year. They're like 2 months behind. Beginning of last year, you're going to see a huge drop in the total gold and silver derivatives again. It has happened every month since they stopped. They moved gold over to and lumped it in with silver, so you couldn't read what was going on, because it would have shown Bank of America disappearing from the gold side of the equation. From the silver side of the equation. I think that's exactly what's going on, and they used it to hide the actual operation. It was Operation Silver Slam 2. Operation Silver Slam 1 was JP Morgan slamming the price of silver, first making it rise to $50 in 2011, and then slamming it and starting an artificial bear market. A guy named Bill Daley was put as Obama's chief of staff to make sure that happened. And good job, Bill Daley. He's the head of the J.P. Morgan, Jamie Dimon SWAT team is what they called them, the SWAT team. It's so insane, the operations that have been going on, that are going on. Right now, silver, I think there's coming to an end of the J.P. Morgan / Bank of America con, Silver Slam number 2. I believe it's coming to an end, maybe this quarter or maybe next quarter. They could try to stretch it out all the way to the end of the third quarter, and the end of the third quarter is when J.P. Morgan gets out of jail from the DOJ. Deferred prosecution agreement was 3 years. Now, they have violated that agreement. So, I mean, if anybody wanted to stop J.P. Morgan from re-entering the silver market, you could just say, hey, you violated the agreement by sharing messages on WhatsApp and not telling it, secret messages about rigging gold and silver on WhatsApp. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. Definitely get your physical silver in your own possession. Get some Theta, get some T-Fuel. You should have Veritasium. It's almost impossible to buy now or sell because the volumes are so freaking tiny. I mean, if you go in and buy $1,000 worth of Veritasium, you'll jack up the price of Veritasium by, I don't know how much, a couple bucks. You buy $10,000, you'll quadruple the price of Veritasium. But remember, it's an illiquid market, so when you're buying, you're going to pay a lot more. When you're selling, there's not going to be many buyers. Although on Mercatox, which is the only exchange that's trading on, there's a hell of a lot of buy orders and very few sell orders in the system. And it's like a matching system they have there. So, yeah. Let's see what Veri is right now. I saw it was under $30. Yep. And there you can see. Look at that. How big was this trade? Volume, $4,000. Drove the price from $38 down to... This is crazy. Look at the total volume of $9,000. You can't buy Veri. You can't sell Veri. You can't do anything with Veri yet. Although sell orders, there's quite a backlog. Oh, look at that. It just jumped. 32. Somebody bought one Veritasium. It's so insane. And then this pink warning, SEC has filed charges against Reggie Middleton, Veritasium, and Veritasium Inc. Why do they do that? Because Coin Market Cap, where this is the site I'm on right now, are violating Reggie's patent. So they're going to do everything to demonize. Crypto people are starting to wake up that Reggie's not the bad guy that the regulators and the criminal controllers, the crypto cabal, as I call them, have painted him as. Reggie's a good guy. He's on our team. And Veritasium, if Reggie's allowed ever again, right now he's not allowed to participate in cryptocurrency. The SEC has frozen 98 million of his 100 million coins, tokens. So only 2 million are traded, and most of them are in very strong hands. There's a lot of people looking to get it. If you look at the buy side on Mercatox. I think ClipFi's data, it will be absolutely correct. I can see easily how it could go to over the price of Bitcoin. Anything is announced for Veritasium, and there's no sellers, just buyers, and they'll buy at anything. But that's crazy volatility. That means from $32 to $23,000 in a blink of an eye. That would fulfill the data, and that's when the U.S. government comes to Reggie to help us, because the old system has died, and it implement a new system. I think Jeffrey Tobin, his old CEO, is working with the SEC and the banking cabal and the good guys to implement a new system. Otherwise, everybody's going to lose everything. So Reggie comes to the rescue. Veritasium, they give him his tokens back so he can... He doesn't necessarily need it. He has the intellectual property. He has promised all the Veritasium holders that you can use the Veritasium tokens currently trading and get a discount for whatever types of things that he's going to implement with his IP. But right now, he's still in lockdown. And Ginny and I did a lot of work on Reggie, and she saw him very clearly strapped down, kind of like Jesus on the cross, just lying there. And now that's changed in her readings. It's become very, ever since he got the patents for peer-to-peer capital transactions, it's huge. This takes out the criminal bankers, the in-betweeners. The JP Morgans of the world, the Citibank, the Fidelity, Virtu Financial, bye-bye. So it is a big deal. So yeah, you got to get some you can get it at Mercatox. Mercatox, almost impossible to deal with if you're buying anything at any kind of size. Look at the total Veritasium for ETH, $1,975 in the last 24 hours. No, wait, $6,447. Just tiny volume, tiny volume. And Uniswap has it, but I wouldn't do that. It's crazy. You can't get any volume there. So yeah, you gotta go to Mercatox and figure out that system. And a lot of people will lose money there if they dive into it. So it's very difficult to get. Yeah, I truthfully, if you don't know what you're doing in cryptos, don't even try to get it. That's my take. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at whoops, I did that one. U.S. pending home sales explode higher in January. The home sale thing is interesting. Houses are a depreciating asset. It's the underlying thing that you're valuing it, U.S. dollars, and the availability of money, how cheap is money, that is going to determine the housing prices. So if we see Janet Yellen continuing to try to fight inflation, which all the numbers are lie, by the way, you're going to see housing prices go to their intrinsic value, which would be less than what the original materials are for. Yep. Housing is massively dependent upon the availability of cheap money. That's the only thing that houses, just ask yourself, if the Fed is gone and the banks are gone and there is no cheap money, or, they charge, 50% interest trying to stop hyperinflation, what is your house going to be worth? No one would be able to get a loan, so you got no bidders. Housing prices have been the greatest investment since 1971. What does that tell you? 1971, we went off the gold standard and money became free. And they were lending at crazy, less than zero type of loans and things like that. That was all part of the Road to Ruta plan. Print as much money as possible, soaking up all the benefits, build your roads, your bridges, your houses, your military, and then pop the bubble. We're at the pop the bubble time. So yeah, I hope you have a place to lay your head, but don't look at that as an investment or retirement money or anything like that. Now, if hyperinflation kicks in, your housing price, that means the Fed is not going to stop it. How fast would it take? Probably 6 months for the entire thing before we're walking around with wheelbarrows full of U.S. dollars. I don't think we're going to get there. I think the good guys behind the scenes have a plan, kind of, but it's all about what the people accept. Like the Road to Ruta documents, the teacher's guide said, what would people accept for a new kind of money? And how about the allocation of that money? And we know Ventures Gibson at the U.S. Mint is making massive amounts of silver eagles, but they're not selling them to the public. Why not? They're stockpiling it. That they even changed the back of the eagle to show an eagle coming down with the branch talons, adding to the nest, is what David Ryder said. They're adding to the nest. So there's a big nest of coins, gold and silver, that is ready to be distributed. But the question of how will they be distributed is a big one. And it's in the Road to Ruta documents as well. In those documents, Greenspan's suggestion of allocating the new money according to Social Security balances. People who have paid in the longest will get the most. People who just starting out will get the least. Makes sense to me. So we'll see what happens. Also, clearly, the insanity of this student loan thing. Student loan is the largest asset on the books of the United States. They're giving away free loans forever. Everybody expects free stuff, all the Wokians. And then Joe Biden wants to forgive $400 billion. We're already in massive debt. Why not another $400 billion? Well, this will piss people off because, these people who went to college made the decision to take out the loan. And if you're going to, all this means is U.S. taxpayers have to pay for these snowflakes. It's just insane. This is going to the Supreme Court, and I don't trust the Supreme Court at all. It's such an open and shut case. I don't trust the Supreme Court would rule anything other than what Joe Biden wants right now, or the deep state, or the bad guys. But if they do rule that there's no cancellation of debt, which is what they should rule, then you'll see uprisings in the colleges. And that's a good thing. Uprisings are good in colleges. It gets the young kids thinking about, oh my God, wait a minute. I really have to pay this money back? My liberal studies degree doesn't make any money, so how am I going to pay anything back? Start out my career declaring bankruptcy, mostly. Anyway, it's a crazy world we're living in. Hang in there. We are giving away, we just started giving away the new Ruta Lives coins. These are the coins with the heart. More information at roadruta.com. Subscribe today. Here's our old infomercial on it. You guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.